Matt,
Bradley.
we are playing Armello. Is that how we pronounce this?
I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. It looks about right.
The new idea of board games in the digital space.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
You've played a bit more of this than me. As you can see, we're getting ready to play a private game. What's it all about?
Well, it's kind of like Game of Thrones crossed with Animals of Farthing Wood.
Okay, that just sounds like the best thing ever, in all fairness.
It's as brutal as Animals of Farthing Wood.
Excellent. That's the one I've got to admit. That's the one feeling I got from the intro, which obviously we don't have here because we've got past it. But the intro is the first thing that came to mind watching that opening video.
Yeah, it's the production values on this game I'm guessing it's not that high budget. The production values are really good.
I've noticed that with a lot of indie games of late. I recorded Cities Skylines earlier. And that's a small dev team that have been working on that, and the production values in that are outstanding. And it seems to be the theme with a lot of indie games now. They've gone from the really cheap cash-in type stuff that we've had before to something much better. And everything seems to have this high production value to it now.
Yeah, it's like I say, I've only played one full game of it, but it's very slick. Like the UI and everything, it all kind of... It's you see a lot of indie games where someone's gone away, they've hammered it together, they have an idea of how they think it should work,
yeah,
but it's not how anyone else is going to be able to understand it. But I think here they've just they've gone the extra mile on just making things just like clear.
Cool. And generally, how long does it take to complete a game on this?
I think it took me like an hour and a half.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll jump into this one. I'll ready up now. We'll jump into this. We'll go for a little bit, see how it goes. So obviously, no one wants to watch an hour and a half of a single game. So once we get through the basics of this, we'll probably look at when to call it a day. But let's ready up, and you can take us through the opening map.
Cool. Yeah, so you've got your hero selection.
I love the art style of this. I'm trying to think where I've seen the bear before. The bear artwork just reminds me of something, but I can't quite place what it is.
Yeah, there's something familiar about the whole thing, really.
It's got a slight Disney look to it at the same time, but sinister.
Definitely. It reminds me of... There was a comic, I can't remember what it was called, about mice having a war. But it's completely escaped me what it was called. It's a bit like that, if you're familiar with a random comic about mice having a war.
Not quite. So I've got these fills. These, but I'm assuming these affect what abilities you have early in the game.
Yeah, the 4 on the right are stat boosts. So you've got like scratches, 1 extra fight stat. You got 1 extra hit point. Wits, I've no idea what wits does. And spirit, which again I think has something to do with casting spells.
Okay.
But then you've got, I don't know if it's the same for your character, but I've got a bunch of things locked off. But the 4 on the right affect the win conditions.
Yeah.
So you've got, what's that? Dig. Anyway, it's timed out on me.
I think I had dig on there as well, but yeah, I can see you need to do certain things to unlock them.
Yeah, so it's you get, there's a bunch of different ways you can win the game. There's a king in the center of the map. Is this you moving around then? Oh no, is that the computer?
No, that's the computer. I chose the female rabbit for some reason.
This is you then.
Okay, so I'm getting some tutorial stuff pop up, so I never turned that off.
I think at the start of the game you get a little quest, and it's just I think it's a random point on the map.
Right.
And every time you complete a quest, you get a prestige point.
Yeah.
And one way of winning is whoever has the most prestige points at the end of the game, they automatically win.
Okay. So generally, I'm assuming with this, from what I can remember from my brief playthrough, is you get some action points to start with, don't you, in terms of how many moves you can make and things like that.
Yeah.
And the different terrains will have different effects. Is that correct?
Pretty much. There's so you have forests give you like a stealth. Yeah,
Yep.
that's how it works. Your forests give you a stealth bonus. So if you go into the forests, you disappear on the screens of other players, which is not massively useful unless you're in an area that's full of forests, in which case you can kind of wrong foot your enemies.
Okay. Now I don't know what I've done. I stepped somewhere and I've got burn cards or roll dice to match symbols. So I'm assuming if I click my dice and throw them,
Should get a little combat screen.
have a look. They're all rolling, and they're still rolling everywhere. What do I get? Yeah, there's one thing that confuses me with this a little bit is it all seems to move quite fast. It doesn't give you time to sort of really read what you're doing. Because I failed whatever that was. I've got time. I can go into the village. I believe that's the end of my turn. Is it 2 moves you can make?
You might have been from that little encounter you had that might have slowed you down, but I think it's normally 3. Or it might change. It might be character dependent, actually.
Okay, yeah, I can't do any more than 2, so I'll end my turn.
Cool. So you just got a village there.
Yeah.
If you get, I think for every village you capture, you get an extra gold per turn.
Yeah, this said I get 1 gold per turn extra on this one, so. Oh, you can zoom out as well. I like that. There we go.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating. You can't actually zoom out all the way.
No, so I can't see what's going on next. I'm assuming is it you next doing stuff?
Yeah, if you click my name at the.
Oh yeah, take.
If I start moving, yeah, it'll flash up. So I'm a little confused because this seems to be. Oh no, I can see on my screen I've got a little quest icon lit. So if I have a little scamper over this way. There we go. So is this showing up on your screen, all the little...
No, all I see here is you, just on the map.
So what I've got here is a little quest dialog box, and I've got a couple of options. I can do a test of my wits, I can do a fight, or I can run away. Something about a carrier pigeon, so I'm going to test my wits and see what happens. And I've got a little indication saying I've got an extra gold and a prestige point.
Yeah, it's just, you get on the little bit underneath. It said that obviously you are quested and now you've completed a quest. It's a shame there's not, I mean, this might be because it is obviously, as it shows in the top right hand corner, it is early access. But it is a shame that I'm not getting any kind of real visual feedback of what you're doing.
Yeah. I wonder if that's deliberate though. Because there are actual, there's little aspects in it that you couldn't do on a real board game. Like the stealth in the forests.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be possible because obviously you could see where your little piece was. But that's the king in the centre there.
So what's this turning, this night-day cycle then? What's this all about?
It's there's a concept in the game called rot.
Yeah.
Which is like a corruption. It's like a disease, I think. And the king suffers from it. And I think it's something you can contract rot from an encounter, or if you die, you get a point of rot. And it's basically like a swinging scale. Like if you're losing really badly, you'll get more rot. And you'll be in like a midpoint where you might actually do better by carrying on losing in a way.
Yeah.
There's a win condition based around rot, because rot actually makes you stronger. So every time you die, you get a bit more rot. And I think it's the night cycle, you're stronger if you've got rot. Okay. And there's creatures that are stronger. So
also,
wondering about.
generally, so with this, generally, where do I find out if there's a quest available or anything like that? Because I'm kind of looking around and I can see places I can move, but nothing that then sort of stands out and says there's a quest or anything like that available.
This is the frustrating thing is they don't have a proper map. You can
Right.
zoom out and it looks very, very pretty.
Yeah.
But you can't see the whole map at once. But there should be somewhere. You should have like a little shield and a little glowing spot somewhere on the map.
Oh no, I've got one. Yeah, it's got a glowing shield on it. I've probably just gone too far away from it now, but I'll go back into my stealth. Yeah, it's got like 2 rabbits and swords on a shield. That be generally what the quest. Right, okay, I'm ending my turn anyway there. Yeah, it's not clear as such that. I suppose this is like these sort of ball games on the whole, though, where the first time you play them, you just kind of feel your way around, and then it's after the second or third go, you start to really understand what they're about. This seems very much like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's also let's capture that little village. Make my way back here because I've actually got a quest on the other side. I've encountered a group of druids. Approach the stone circle and the druids direct your attention towards 3 symbols. A spirit stone, a scythe, and a wild tree. Try spirit stone. And I've got a spirit stone. I think if you get 4 spirit stones and you get to the middle, then you win the game.
Right,
that's another win condition. I was in the middle of a train of 4 and I got distracted by that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much is deliberately hidden or not, and how much is, like you say, is still in early access.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those. It feels. I'm assuming that was telling us who's in the lead.
Yep.
Any heroes who lose 1 prestige. Okay, don't have any rot, but.
So yeah, when you're in the lead, you get to decide between one of 2 cards that get drawn.
Yeah.
And you can probably see here, you've got your King's Guards wandering around.
Yeah, and then randomly doing battles with demons of some description.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if you can track the rot, then they'll start running after you.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's the one complaint I've got from this, when I first had a look at this, it's the complaint I had about it then, was everything just seems to, even though it's a board game and it's slow paced, everything seems to be moving that bit fast. Because that their character studies moves, done some bits, and I haven't got a clue what he's done. Whereas I half expect that this should be telling me what he's doing and why he's doing it, and so on. I've got tutorial as an option on, so it should be telling me why things like that are happening, which it's not quite doing.
Yeah, I think the tutorial's a bit bare bones at the moment. It just kind of roughly outlines things like win conditions and stuff like that. And it's also it doesn't give you a lot of direction.
Yeah.
Like, it's context sensitive. You run across something and it'll say, oh, this is a village or this is a dungeon. But
doesn't say why, so to speak.
Yeah, it doesn't really give you like an insight into what you're supposed to be doing.
So I've just gone to a quest, Rolling Hills, and obviously people can see this on my screen now because I finally got to a quest. As you can see, I've got, you arrive at the fields, their verdant splendour stretching far and wide in all directions. Surely this battle could have started anywhere. You look around trying to determine where the battle may have taken place. Then I've also got the 3 cards, which are Test Fight, Test Wits, and Test Body. Now I'm assuming looks like Wits, based on what I've got here, is going to be my best bet, except it went Test Fight. Okay. And I've got gold and something. It doesn't tell me what that thing is that I've earned, which again isn't particularly handy, but I'll put that down to early access, not getting it all in at the moment. Okay, I can go into the mountains. They gain shield and lose AP. Right, so obviously now back to you.
Yep. So I can reach my quest thing, which is just over here on the left. If you look on like the left-hand side of the screen as well, you have cards that you can play.
Yes.
And they're all you can play them to different things. So like play to creature lets you that's an effect. I don't know if that works for you. I think a play to creature you can play it to yourself or anything else.
Okay.
And then you've got some that you can only play on certain terrain types. So you can use them to depending on your hand, you can kind of use them to thwart people and like box them in.
Yeah,
so there's quite a lot of.
I've got like I can play to Settlement Stone Circle, and it does stuff there.
Right, I've got another quest here. So it says, moving through the bustling streets, you see your mark. The fat pig preaches to passers-by, ankle deep in mud. The question is, how will you deal with him? See, this is the weird thing. Like, I could picture this as a board game where you draw a card and you have a little picture and a bit of context. But the text just by itself, you're kind of going, what?
Yeah.
You're not really sure what's happening. But let's have a look. I think my character is a bit of a crafty one, so I'm going to test my wits. And yeah, I get another prestige point.
The prestige points are the little kin symbol, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, if I click on you, camera's not coming. You're doing your quest and you've disappeared. Oh, you're playing. Is this you playing a card now? Is it?
No, this is.
Oh no, we've moved to
the other player. Okay. Oh no, carnage.
Okay, so now I'm in battle, I think.
See, this is weird. Because I only played this against the computer. I don't get any of your battle screen at this point, so I can't really see what's going on.
I'm gonna play some dice. So yeah, there's no Paul's explanation as to what's going on or why here. There's dice being thrown, lots of attack, some defense, which I think means I've won. No, he's got overkill. Did I win that or did he?
Looks like you did.
Oh, excellent! I won a battle and I don't know how. All I knew was I threw some dice. It's really weird because it's this like Thane, who's the wolf thingy. Is that out the game now? Is he dead? Is he completely out? Can he not win?
When you die, you lose a point of prestige and you gain a point of rot.
Right. So at that point, I assume you then go back to somewhere.
Yeah, he should be back in his starting area. Whichever one that was. Oh yeah, he's back there.
Okay.
On the left.
Right, so it's my go again now. And there was a quest up here. Now I want to avoid these. What are they called? Banes? I want to avoid the Banes. Don't want to go near the Banes. Okay, and I've got another card. Go here and do my quest. Let's test my spirit. I'll get gold, prestige, and something else that doesn't quite tell me what it is. I'm now the prestige leader, and I don't know how.
Don't question it.
Oh no, I'm not questioning it at all. See, it's one of those where it's like when I've played things like Carcassonne and things like that. I don't understand the game when I first play it, but you play it with someone who knows it, and they explain to you what you're doing during your move on your first go. And as slick as this is, that's what's missing from this. Is that person who can tell me what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which is a shame. Now I think I've claimed. There we go. I've claimed whatever that is.
I mean, I think this is the weirdest thing because obviously I played against a computer. I didn't have this problem. Or I kind of did, but I hadn't twigged until now. Because it's just like, it's a board game. So it should be kind of a social experience, but half of what's happening is locked off from you.
Yeah.
She seems like a weird choice.
Yeah, you don't. I'd actually prefer that when you're quested, I see your quest screen, or at least get the option to see your quest screen. And I can't see anywhere.
Maybe in the options, but
As statuses can pop up.
Gameplay. It's just tutorials. That's it.
It's. I like the concept of the game, and I want to see more of these board games brought into the digital world, just as is. And if they can add these little bits like the real life character movement and some nice splashes to it, that's all well and good. I think this is trying to go too far as it stands at the moment, too far to the video gamey side. Whereas I think you're right. If you brought it back to the board game side, it'll be a lot more impressive, I think. Hand of Fate does it really well. It's a card game that's purely. Oh, I get to choose this. No battle between.
Hand of Fate's like a weird. It's like a card game roguelike or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's dealt with like it is an actual real life card game. So you get to see all the movements the cards are doing and stuff like that. And it's only when it goes into the battle mode that it then goes away from that card game element. But it works really well. And that's probably, I think, one of the cues this looks like it could take from that. Is give us more of the board game overview and then share the video gamey bits with everyone. It's just lacking that little bit, which is a shame because what I've played of it briefly and what I'm playing of it now, I can see myself spending a lot of time with it. But the barrier of entry seems really, really high, and that's a crying shame.
Yeah, it's.
Oopsie. So again, it's not just a little bit. So I just didn't realise that was my turn for a second. Then a nice pop up to say it's my turn.
Well, that's the worst thing as well. You can what I did the first time I played it. I spent a lot of time accidentally moving the screen away from what was happening.
Yeah.
And then not having any idea.
So I don't want to approach. I don't know where I've got another. Oh, down here. Right, okay. So here, I don't want to battle this thing. I'm going to go and explore a dungeon. Gives me 2 magic, okay. And it won't let me there, so I've got to battle. Didn't want to do. He's got 4 dice, I've got 4 dice, 1 defense. So can I just play that now? Is that played? Okay. And throw my dice. Some attacks, more dice are rolling around. Okay. So now here comes battle and dead. So I like that. Now I get kind of what's meant to be going on with the battle and how the dice will obviously play a part. That's fine, I get that. But I would have known that a lot earlier had there been a flash up on screen when you was doing yours, telling me this was going to happen, and the tutorial worked a bit better. But I feel really bad almost criticising it because the bits that are missing are so minor in the grand scheme of the game. And once you understand them, I don't think it matters. But it's just that whole idea of bringing someone in. You try and introduce this to someone who doesn't play board games or isn't a big video gamer. They're not going to play this because there's just too much to take in.
It's. I was thinking actually the last sort of. I played a lot of the Space Hulk, the PC version of Space Hulk that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have a very good reputation. But the one thing it did brilliantly is it's very good at explaining your probabilities and what the dice meant.
Yeah.
And what would happen in every time you hovered your cursor over something, it would explain what the consequences of all that was. Which was ironically it had kind of shoddy presentation.
Yeah.
So it's the exact opposite of this really. But yeah, I mean the thing is this is still early access.
Oh,
So
there's a lot to look forward to with this. I know it does sound like we've been quite down on it, but I mean, apart from not seeing what you're doing, apart from little pop-ups and obviously you explaining bits here and there, it's not been a terrible experience. It's been a good experience, but it's times where it's my go and I'm just kind of sat here waiting for stuff to go off. I said, whereas if I could see what your battles are doing or get the option to view your battles, that would just bring the game to life that bit more. I like the general premise of this, and I want to see more of these happen. I want to see a lot more of these board games come video games. There's so many good ones out there when you look at the various Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, and Robo Rally, Carcassonne, and we've got Magic is done really well, and those things. So there is a market for them. And I really hope something like this is a success, because it's not based off an existing board game as far as I'm aware. So it's a totally original concept that brings board game mechanics, video game mechanics together, and I really like that. But as it stands at the moment, it's very hard to say to someone, yeah, you've got to get this the day it comes out. I want to see more. I want to see how it builds a bit more from that before I could say to someone, this is worth getting.
Yeah. I think as well... Oh, hang on.
I've just died for no reason.
Oh, I didn't even see you on the screen then. Yeah, I think the strength of the game, from what I can see, is like the potential for all different backstabbing. And when you understand how different cards work and you get familiar with the layout of the board and everything, there's a lot there. And I've had fun with it, just like fumbling about.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of... Yeah, I do want to stress, like, for all its problems, it is an enjoyable game.
Yeah, there's a lot. A lot I like about it, and it's just the minor things. The fact that I can't get a full overview of the board at any one time is a little frustrating, but not the end of the world. The fact that it doesn't slow stuff down when you early on to explain things to you. It just kind of rushes you forward, and times where you just sat around waiting rather than viewing what's going on. Now I can see why they might go for that, because while someone else is doing something, you might want to look in your inventory or your character shelf and check a few bits out and that sort of thing. Yeah, there's a lot I would like to see improved on before this comes out, before I could recommend it wholeheartedly. I think it's going to be one of those that you can say that once you get to grips with it, I think you might love it, but you've got to really dedicate your time to force yourself through learning it a few times, taking a few batterings and learning the mechanics yourself. Which is fine in some respects, but yeah, it does make it hard for new people to get on with it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what kind of a community builds up around it as well. Because, I mean, I imagine most of the games that are going to be played will be through matchmaking.
Yeah, I can see that. Or the only other option I think you've got with that as well is where people get together on like a Friday night and play a board game or something like that. Is you can get a regular group together. Because it's 4 players max, isn't it? Because of the characters. If you can get a regular group together and you can have, a Friday night playing this. Have you got local multiplayer? I don't think I ever noticed if it had local or not.
I don't think it does. It's a weird one because it hides so much from the other players that they've kind of, if they stick with that setup, they kind of rule out hot seat.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not the best thing.
No, because I don't know if your cards are hidden to other people or not, or whether it's meant to be. Yeah, there's a lot that needs fleshing out. That's what it's missing at the moment. it's difficult. I mean, it's not early access in the terms of some of the Unity asset games that people put together, where it is just a case of. Oops, sorry, let's go up here. Didn't realise I was still. Where it's just people throw together a bunch of Unity assets and done some kind of survival game. There's a lot of effort has been put into this, obviously been built from the ground up, which I suppose makes it tough on the game itself because it looks so good, it looks so polished. Am I expecting too much from the game at this stage? Or how close to release is it? 'Cause I know this was kickstarted back in 2013, I believe.
All right. Far back.
Yeah, and I believe it spent like a year in beta access and tested and stuff like that. So they've been quite open with it. So assuming they're allowing the community to have input and that sort of thing. They allow you to send bug reports or issues with game, but there doesn't seem to be anywhere else seen for sending ideas. Again, is it a case of if they listen to everyone's ideas, the game will never get made? Because I think with board games, they need to be nailed down quite early.
Yeah. I mean, I get the sense that if you knew exactly what was going on, there is something quite impressive in there.
Yeah.
I'd worry that... I mean, I feel the same way about a lot of early access stuff. I'd worry that the core audience obviously buys it in early access, and then they're happy with it. So there's a kind of a bunker mentality that comes to making changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you also get the point where the people who buy it early, or the people who kickstarted it and go for the early access, are also the ones who are going to stick with it or have played it to death. And by the time it comes out, are done with it. So they lose a lot of the community, maybe. Especially something like this. I don't know what the longevity of something like this is. I don't know how different each new game's going to be or how much strategy can change up as you're playing it. I mean, at the moment, I've got a ton of gold, and I don't know whether I should build up the gold, where I can spend it, what I can spend it on. There's no
that's kind of
obviousness to it, so I don't know if I can use building up gold as a strategy for something end games, which adds to a bit of frustration. It's really weird because a lot of early access games, you play them and you go, yeah, this is either going to be terrible or it's going to be great. You can tell straight away. Whereas this, I think I'm slap bang in the middle at the moment. I can see myself wanting to play more, but I don't know if I will yet. It's something I'll leave now for a good few weeks. Wait to see if there's an update down the line and then push on and give it another go and see if it does start making moves in the right direction. But yeah, it's a tough one to call at the moment. You're in there, aren't you? Because you've got stealthy.
Right then, I just had a really involved turn. Like I was using cards and I had a fight.
Yeah.
And I was kind of aware of the fact that people watching the stream, all they're seeing is just two little figures stood next to each other.
All they're seeing is me because I'm still hovered on me. You kind of disappeared on there and there was not much going on. So.
Oh, yeah, because I'm in stealth. So if someone's stealth, then there's even less.
I can see a Bane. Yeah, it's still your turn. I can see a Bane. Right. So I don't know what forest you're in, but I'm guessing you're in that one where the Bane is.
Actually, I think my character's stealth at night.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. There you go.
But yeah, what have I got at the moment? I've got no rocks. I suppose that's a good thing. 2 prestige now for some reason. I don't know why I lost prestige, but I'm still winning.
All right, so now you're winning.
I've just made the Banes better for some reason. That was a weird one because I had a choice either there of increasing... The Banes are the bad guys, by the way. I suppose we should make that clear. The little Harry Potter death thingies, whatever they were in that. That is what they remind me of. They're like what are they called in Harry Potter? Those.
They got a really daft name, haven't they?
Yeah, but they're kind of like dragon bird versions of those. But they're the Banes, and I've made them stronger, which has worked because one of my opposition has died. And I can start making my way to the quest area. I can go stealth, and then into my quest. Listen to wild for advice. You draw closer to the stone circle and hear something deep and distant. The sound of chanting ahead of you is a robed figure that can be seen standing impossibly tall over an altar stained with a raven's carcass. Stay outside. I can listen. Right, let's listen. Gives me more gold, more prestige, and I believe that's a spirit stone. Okay, so that's worked well. But yeah, again, it's not at the moment. It's not explaining why I'm doing these bits, what the end game is for these. But
see, you're actually you've got 4 spirit stones, which I think means you can just go and visit the king and win the game.
I've got 4. Where do I know where my spirit stones are?
If you hover over your character, you should get a little thing in the spirit stones at the bottom.
Oh yeah, I see. I've got 3 sword fighty things, 5 life, 4 magic. Is that I believe, and 4 spirit. So I've got 4 spirit stones, a ton of gold. Okay, so to do this, what do I do? Do I need to just enter the castle?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously this is your go at the moment.
So you're pinned down by the guards on that side of the castle.
Oh, so I'd need to go the other side, really?
Yeah, I mean you could fight the guards, but I think they get like a stat bonus in the castle. This is the thing. Like I'm piecing together little bits of it from like the last time I played.
Yeah.
But like already you can see like the kind of potential for like back and forth and comebacks and backstabbing. So there is a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got at the moment to get round the other side of the castle. I can get most of it done in 2 overall turns. But there's a guard also in one of the forests. So I'm looking. You can see planning where what risk is there to go this way, or should I take extra turns and go that way and risk not meeting other people, or should I just go for it and storm the castle? And you can, again, as I've played a few rounds now, I can see why I'm doing certain bits and where it's worth going, what's worth avoiding, that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's me dead.
And it's done something to the king.
Yeah, well, I think the king, the story behind the game, the king has the rot, so he's steadily dying.
Right, so he's just had a bit of rot taken from him, so he's gone down to 6. Or up to 6, whatever that is, and I'm on 0. I'm going to wait for the bear to do his bit. Now it's me. So, go in here. Yeah, it's not letting me in for some reason. Oh, hang on. Enter the palace. Here we go. So, what we'll do, have a look at this. This could be a good point for us to sort of see. If I win, then obviously we call it a day, or just see what happens here. So what am I battling? The king?
I think that's one of his guards.
Yep, it's one of his guards. So I've got here, refill health. Both players gain +2 prestige. Bounty is placed on the target. No, can't do that. Oh, I can put a shield though. There we go. Only got 1 dice. Be an attack. Oh, I've got another one. Okay. Ah, right, okay. Okay, no ground. Nothing's actually gone wrong. Can I enter again? I can't enter again because that's the end of my turn. Okay, so that was interesting. I sort of, obviously, to gain access to the king, I've either got to go in a way that's going to allow me to stealth in, or I have to take on a guard. And in that case, with that, we pretty much equaled each other in battle, which just meant I retreated back to where I was. So I look at, can I go in again, or do I now go for the other option of going round? So I can see you're in a quest at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened. I've got a moon scythe. And what does that say? Moon dice rolled at night explode. So I'm guessing that's a good thing. I just kind of twigged something now, like while you were having your turn. I think you can play your cards in someone else's turn to sabotage them.
All right, so
I have to test that theory out.
Okay, so theoretically, I mean, I've got. Yeah, there's. Oh god, what's he's placed a bounty on? I didn't see who he placed a bounty on. And yes, it's little stuff like that. You get little bits of information, vital bits of information are going down in the right-hand corner. So by the time you see them, I've graciously decided to poison everyone until the end of their turn. For mere 4 gold, you can have the antidote. Darkness strikes the land. Every hero gains 1. I'm gonna poison you all. I'm gonna choose to have us all poisoned because I've got lots of gold. So yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, I've got what's one -4 magic. So theoretically, I could, while you're in battle, play that card.
That's what I think, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'd have to kind of wait for an opportunity to.
Both players gain +2 prestige. Oh, it's an 8. Oh, okay. So you can. Interesting. I wonder if there's ways for 2 of you for more than one person to actually win.
Well,
oh, crap, he's going.
Because that's the thing. There's different win conditions. Like you can get the spirit stones to the king. You can defeat the king in combat. You can defeat him while you've got the rot, or I think you just wait the game out if you've got the most prestige. So let's.
Okay. See what I'm doing here. I'm battling the king at the moment. I don't know what I've done. I don't know if I'm about to win. Going on? No.
Huh.
I failed the king's peril. I don't know how. I don't know why.
It's a mystery.
So yeah, it's confusing again. You know, at least when you've got a board game and you're playing through, and you've got your instructions there. You kind of got a reference to sort of like, why am I got to do this and why am I playing? I've just played all my cards. I thought, well, if I play all my cards, maybe I can use that, and I've kind of done nothing. There's no manual that you can have with you to go, right, what's my strategy here? And I think whereas video games can get away with this, just look, play and learn, I don't think board games can. This does need, first time you've entered to battle the king, it needs to tell you what you're doing and why. And it was wit versus something else, and it doesn't explain why it's that. So I mean, I think this would be probably a good place to call this at the moment, because this is going to be going round in circles probably for another 30-40 minutes.
Sorry.
But obviously, I think the conclusion we can come to with this so far is there's clearly a lot of potential in this game, but it needs a lot of work to see that potential. I don't know if you agree, if you've got anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough kind of assessment of it. It is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is fun even just to kind of mess about with it, even when you're not sure what's going on. Because it's a really nicely kind of, it looks good. It's got like anything with stats to go up and down is always compulsive. It's just like we said, weird decisions. Like it's a board game, but you can't see the whole board at once. Things like that.
No, I mean, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit out. Oh, there's a game guide here, right?
All right, let's have a look.
So, which is fine. So it tells you what these are. That what we've got. I'm looking at the game guide here. I'm in the pause menu, and I'm looking at the game guide, and this is detailed. There's a lot in here. Tells you a fair amount about what's what the king's declarations are, how they affect things, movement, perils, prestige, the rot. These are all good, but they shouldn't be hidden where they are. This should be popping up intuitively as you're playing the game. Give you the option as a player to stop that if you want, but you'd think that if you've not seen them before, you've chose the option to have tutorials on. This should be popping up exactly as this is. You know, you're about to face the king. This is what is likely to happen. These are your choices. Yeah, so basically the idea is the Armello is a race to claim the throne by completing one of the 4 win conditions, which it doesn't explain before the game. Without hiding, you own kill him back in. Right, see, you can enter the palace with more rot than the king, and then battle him and kill him. That's a win. Or be the highest, or be the prestige leader if the king just dies of his own infection. Enter the palace and kill the king. Or stones. See, none of this is explained when you first go into it, which is a hell of a shame. I've got some dice to roll here. I didn't realise the game was still carrying on while I was in a pause menu. Well, I suppose because it's online, isn't it, technically? So, but yeah, that manual's all well and good, but it's not there enough for me. It's not telling me enough.
Yeah, it could do with. It just needs the. Like, I don't know how you'd do it, but it almost needs the equivalent of like the first time you play a board game.
Yeah.
Like, if your mates introduce you to it, you'll have like a hand-holding game where all your cards will be out on the table, and someone will be there to say, "Oh, you could do this, or you could do this."
Yeah, I think just contextual tutorials would work. You know, you are about to face the king, or you're about to have your first battle, and then talk you through that battle. But apart from that, you know, if I understand the game, and the more I'm beginning to understand it, the more it makes sense in areas, which is great. And I can see this being something I'll go back to time and time again. But I think as it stands, I'm probably going to wait now until this enters retail and is properly released, because I don't want my experience now ruined because I've tried to get used to it in early access. But yeah, that's Armello. It's in early access on Steam. If you fancy it, I would suggest waiting now until it comes out properly, because there's a good game there. It just doesn't feel quite finished yet.
Yeah. It's one to keep an eye on. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining me, Matt.
No worries.
As said, you can find Armello on Steam. If you want to check it out, go ahead, but beware, it's not finished yet. Goodbye.
Yep. See you.